Smash Bros. Has always been a showcase for Nintendo's other work. Since introducing the 12 core stars of the N64 original, each one representing Nintendo's biggest franchises and most beloved cult hits, the series has consistently ballooned in size. Now, almost everything in a Smash Bros. Game is a reference to something someone out there will remember, an unnatural history museum, if you will. But Super Smash Bros. Ultimate feels different. Suddenly, this feels more like a museum built to celebrate Smash Bros. Itself. That's most obvious in its key hook. The game comprises every character the series has ever included in its playable roster, plus a couple more for good measure. That's 65 all told, not including the newly coined Echo characters like Dark Pit, Lucina, and new addition Daisy, each one too complex to be a palette swap, but too similar to be counted as a whole new roster pick. It's an almost absurd number of characters for a fighting game, but it's necessary to get the point across. For the first time, Smash Bros. Isn't trying to impress by including the characters you know from other Nintendo games, it's impressing by including characters you know from Smash Bros. By this point, I'd wager most people know the Ice Climbers better as Smash characters than NES platforming heroes. The fact they're back feels strangely special. The series' fixation on Link comes to a head by including 3 entirely separate versions of the character in a single game for the first time, and somehow, series mastermind Masahiro Sakurai even convinced Konami to let him re-include Solid Snake, complete with a performance from original voice actor David Hayter. Hell, even one of Ultimate's brand new roster picks, Metroid's Ridley, is a Smash Bros. In-joke. Fans have been clamouring for him to be playable for over a decade by this point. Amazingly, after going hands-on with the game, I can say that nostalgia for the series itself actually benefits the gameplay. It's weird how quickly I remembered how to play Ice Climbers just because my melee muscle memory had kicked in. But that's not to say these are just up-resed models from the old games. I equally know I'm going to have to relearn my beloved Little Mac, who feels a little less clumsy but loses the sheer brutal efficacy of his original Gigamac transformation. Like returning to a childhood home years later, everything feels the same, but weirdly different. Ultimate doesn't quite repeat its roster trick with the rest of Smash Bros. Key components. The game definitely won't include every previous stage, for example, but that's not to say there isn't a pleasure to getting to play overhauled versions of previously 3DS-only stages like Tortimer Island, and there will absolutely be returning arenas from the older entries, rejigged with modern looks and in-play tweaks. Again, it's about making the series' hallmarks feel new again. On the more modern side, Inklings are studiously implemented to feel familiar to players of Splatoon, even while in a completely different genre of game. Coating other players or the stage itself in ink offers an advantage, and their range of borrowed weaponry makes them feel versatile at range or up close. It's not a slavish implementation though. You don't have to have painted the floor to drop down and refill your ink in squid form, for instance. In terms of brand new stages, I played on Zelda Breath of the Wild's Great Plateau Tower and the Splatoon-inspired Moray Towers. The former is pretty simple, a battlefield-like condensed bottom level with an upper platform revealed by dealing damage to the tower's spire itself. I did find myself a little distracted, in the best way, by the game's old man character repeatedly jumping on and off the tower with his own glider. Moray Towers is more interesting, reflecting a portion of the brilliant Splatoon 2 map with a series of switchback ramps, potentially splitting players across multiple levels, but always enticing them into ridiculously tight brawls on a single section of the map. In a gorgeous little touch, the whole stage is splattered with paint just before you begin. More proof of Sakurai's own Nintendo fandom. Since Melee, it's been clear that the backward-looking museum element is only a part of Sakurai's ambition, however. The Nintendo Direct we saw made a few high-level tweaks very clear. Perfect shields, a formalized short hop ability, and the return of directional air dodges. But on a wider scale, Ultimate is undoubtedly aiming to be a more robust competitive experience. Even after a short time with Ultimate, it's obviously a faster, more technical game than before. Nintendo won't say it outwardly, but it feels extremely clear that the dominance of Melee on the competitive scene is something it wants to end after Ultimate's December release. Incidentally, Nintendo won't say a thing about a single-player mode right now, and we only got to play a cut-down version of local multiplayer. And guess what? Nintendo won't talk about online yet either, besides saying that it will be included. What they will tell us, repeatedly, is that Ultimate is a brand new game created specifically for Switch, but there's no denying its similarity to the series' last incarnation. From menus to visuals, this is an iteration on the Wii U version in particular. It's not a huge problem, as ever, Switch's versatility adds value by itself, but those looking for something truly different won't find it here. But that's probably not the point. Since Melee, Masahiro Sakurai has said that the next Smash Bros. Game will probably be his last. Each entry has been the biggest, arguably the best, and probably the most exhausting to make. Each one has felt like a rundown of Nintendo's history, a successful advance on the series' weirdo mix of fighting and pinball, and, yes, a slap in the face for those who want a playable Waluigi. All of that remains true, but Ultimate is a subtitle that definitely suggests we're reaching an endpoint. If that's any indication, then the next Smash Bros. Will be a museum not only to celebrate Nintendo, but Sakurai himself. it's already beginning to feel like a fitting tribute. If you want to see more from Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, you can check out a full fight with new character Ridley, or a brawl across the new Splatoon-inspired Moray Towers stage.